Revenue realizations did not pan out the way that you'd forecast. Revenue post your policy turned out to be much lesser than prior to this new policy coming in. Many liquor vends shut down. People didn't want the licenses, and you couldn't deliver the number of vends that you'd promised. And ultimately, you've gone back to the original scheme. If Kejriwal was convinced that his original scheme had merit, he would not have backtracked. You realize that you're on the defensive and therefore backpedaling on this.
I will respond to each of these, Rahul, but you have to allow me the courtesy of not interrupting in the middle.
Go on.
So, going to the number of liquor vends in Delhi. So, one of the main issue with the old policy was that there were parts of Delhi, especially outer parts of Delhi, where there were no liquor vends, and these were the area where illicit liquor, spurious liquor was being sold in connivance of MCD, Bharatiya Janata Party. This was one of the main reasons why we decided to change the policy so that liquor vends could be distributed equally across the city of Delhi. Now, what happened was that Bharatiya Janata Party, with the help of LG, added additional conditions. So, just 48 hours before the policy was to be announced, they added additional conditions, clearances from MCD, clearances from various departments. As a result of that, only 400 shops could be opened, even though the policy had planned for 850 policies, which were there in the 850 shops, which were there in the old policy. So the revenue went down because a lot of the shops could not be opened. Now coming back to Bharatiya Janata Party, see Rahul, what they're doing in Gujarat, the same thing they're trying to do in Delhi. They want Delhi to become a dry state so that their leaders can get into this illegal spurious liquor business, which is what they're doing in Gujarat. Every day we see reports from Gujarat of illegal, of poisonous liquor. If there is Nasha Bandi in Gujarat, then why is this being allowed? Every second day there is a report of drugs being caught in Gujarat. Why there is no CBI raid? Why there is no ED raid? How is it possible that in the state of Gujarat, so much of alcohol, so much of drugs are being sold without the political patronage of Bharatiya Janata Party? So this is just vendetta politics against Aam Aadmi Party.
No, but you're making rhetorical points again. I have some very specific questions I want to put to you.
Okay.
The LG House is claiming that there are clauses which you put in the policy which prohibited bidding by entities which have manufacturing facilities directly or through related concerns. But the companies that were allocated licenses for 3 zones under the new policy had manufacturing capabilities of their own. One of the winning bidders is owned by the father of the owner of a blacklisted promoter. The third allegation is that promoters and shareholders of one of the companies were given a license but were blacklisted by the Madhya Pradesh government for evading excise duty. Yet the company was given a license in contravention of the new excise policy of 2021-2022. Reena Gupta.
Rahul, these are all allegations. These allegations, one can come out with any sorts of allegations. You know, this photograph you're showing, Dinesh Arora with Mr. Manish Sisodia, there are photographs of Nirav Modi and Mehul Choksey with the Prime Minister of the country. So, by virtue of photographs, can you say that Mr. Modi was involved with Mr. Nirav Modi? You can't say that, right?
Sure.
Now, let's go back to the earlier point about New York Times. Seriously, give me a break. Every journalist of this country will tell you that articles are published in collaboration by courtesy in several newspapers. A reputed newspaper like New York Times, I challenge Bharatiya Janata Party that with all their electoral bonds money, why don't they go ahead and get an article published in the New York Times if the New York Times can be so easily bought and sold? So these are all baseless, useless arguments. None of them will be proved, Rahul.